If you're a musician looking to have a music video created, Lamplight are the perfect production company to come to because they themselves are artists.
The brief for A Different Kind was a really interesting one.
4 different eras of music video in one video. So we started in the 1960s with the Beatles, then through to Billy Joel in the 1970s, replicating a performance on the Old Grey Whistle Test, then through to a Motley Crue video for Livewire, which is 1980s, then on to My Chemical Romance for a recreation of Helena, which is a video that came out in the early 2000s.
It was the largest single music video that we tried to take on in-house, not in the sense of scale of production, more in the sense of the level of detail required for the creative. That was the real challenge here. Now, as an opportunity, we love Harry's music. We've worked with him a few times. We think he's great. So to have the opportunity to do the video for his headline single, which is the EP title track, was a huge honor.
In terms of how that director dynamic works when you are in a sort of 50-50 collaboration with your artist who you're producing the music video for, there is an element of coming up with your own ideas, but it's more about managing their ideas and filtering their ideas. Harry and I sat down together and plotted/storyboarded the whole video, basically deciding what the best order of the eras were and which era would be best over which bit of the song. We would need a theatre/studio space to do the Beatles, Motley Crue and Billy Joel, and then the My Chemical Romance video is very specifically set in a church, so we'd need a church for that one. The first thing I did with the theatre/studio space was phone up our stage manager, lighting technician, AV provider, Aaron. He recommended to me the Whitty Theatre. The church, and we ended up choosing East Hampstead Parish Church in Bracknell. It's a lot smaller than the church in the My Chemical Romance video, because the church in the My Chemical Romance video is like an American mega church, but I think the end result and even the sense of scale actually in the end felt right.
So the biggest difference in pre-production that we wouldn't normally do on a project sort of this type is camera tests, and then also a couple of different lighting techniques to see whether with the tools that we had, could we faithfully or somewhat accurately recreate the 4 different looks that we needed to. What that allowed Johnny to do is go away, take that footage and develop LUTs, so lookup tables, which are creative looks that you could apply in camera to give us a more accurate output on the reference monitors whilst we're filming to the references.
Lamplight were fantastic to work with because they listened to all my ideas and offered a reality check where something wasn't quite achievable, but at the same time found ways that we could achieve my vision within the budget and the time that we had.
We are in the Whitty Theatre in Wokingham, recreating a famous Billy Joel performance on a TV show called The Old Grey Whistle Test. And Aaron and Matt are offering the stage for that now. Cast is settled in, going through makeup now. Music videos are interesting because you're sort of doing narrative work, but you're sort of not. You get to do all the fun stuff with narrative, which is like building your own set, crafting your own shots, and we aren't bound by any of the painful bits of narrative filmmaking like script supervision or continuity. So it's the most playful kind of filmmaking, I think, that we're able to do at this point. The thing I'm trying to think about at the moment is we've got all these musicians who are great musicians. Acting-wise, we've got to get them to replicate the performance of each era. The 70s one isn't too difficult because all the people in that video are quite casual. The Beatles one's going to be trickier because it's got that sort of stiff 1960s early live television performance quality about it, but they didn't quite know what they were doing and in terms of how to make it natural, and I think pulling that out for musicians is going to be tricky, but I think it should be doable.
So we're starting today with the Mica Cine Primes. These are Super 35 set. We've got an 18, 35 and 75. So we're running today actually quite deep focus, so anywhere from f5.6 to f8, depending on how much light we've got. So we're going for that sort of DV 1980s look, where everything was slightly out of focus, but also in focus at the same time. We're going for a very sharp, clean image, and then we'll degrade it in post. We do have vintage stuff that we're going to use for other looks, but obviously if you shoot it dirty, you can't clean it up. So we're shooting it clean and then we're dirtying it up in post. We're making good progress. We've got the ground package on at the moment. On at stage, we've got no front lights yet. We're just about to dial those in, but I mean, it looks all right to you there.
When you're running a set of a particular size, you need a first assistant director. It is their responsibility to basically ensure that the director is only thinking about the creative challenges and not the logistical challenges. Our first AD on day one was my very good friend Dan. Good morning. It is day 2. In the background, they're setting up for the Motley Crew. I think it's the one a lot of people are most looking forward to because it's just going to be the most chaotic and crazy.
Still going to try and throw a few more things on. We've got some more colours we want to get in. The whole point is make it just really tacky, really loud.
Everyone got woken up sharply in the morning by having to recreate sort of a 1980s cocaine-driven music video. And we burned through that in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then we had the unit move.
What that means is we had to start in one location and then move over to another location during the course of the shoot day. Now that of course involves packing everything up, putting it all back into the vehicles, transporting it over to another location, loading it all in, setting it all up again, and trying not to lose any momentum that you've built through the course of the production.
Oh, and at some point in that, we had to have lunch as well, you know, just in case it was feeling too easy. On day 2, our first AD was Roxy Oliveira. She's also very experienced in working with large sets and managing large crews, and was particularly good at keeping everything in line during the unit move from the theatre to the church, and getting phone calls done and keeping track of all the various separate moving bits of the crew. I think in every scene, we added 1 or 2 shots, we got to experiment, and we also got all of our core coverage, which was the main thing in a video with this level of planning.
Everything also ran really smoothly on the shoot day because they'd organised everything so well and planned for any problems we might face.
What went well is that we executed everything we planned to do pretty much to the letter. Now, what that means is we probably had room to push it further. So the edit was very straightforward, because Harry and I had a plan. And we had sat down in pre-production and decided precisely which scenes and which shots from each scene would play over which section of the video. So all I had to do with the footage was execute that plan. There were a few moments where that plan didn't quite work, communicate to Harry where I was making changes, and make those changes. My preferred way of editing anything is to edit it before you shoot it. And this video was a demonstration of why that works so well.
Finally, the editing process was really quick. They were very fast to react to any feedback that I offered.
Fortunately, I was assisted by Tim and Johnny. Johnny in particular can see things that Tim and I can't quite see when it comes to detail in color grading and video degradation. Working with Johnny was just about being clear about how far I was happy for him to lean into each of those looks, and he kind of didn't need to be told twice after that.
It was a fairly painless process. It was just about finding that perfect balance between being authentic to the originals, but then not degrading it too far to the point where it's no longer useful or interesting to a modern audience.
I'd just like to say a huge thank you to Harry for bringing the project to us.
And most importantly, we really look forward to working with him again. I'm sure we will.
If you're a musician looking to have a music video created, Lamplight are the perfect production company to come to because they themselves are artists and they want to create a piece of art with you rather than just any old video, set up a camera and let you play. They'll come in and create a world with you and capture your aesthetic or your identity as best they can and work with you to bring that out of you.
A Different Kind of music video is available on the Harry T. Pope YouTube channel, and the EP is available on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you generally stream your music.
Here it's a different kind of loving.